Welcome back to the channel. I'm just fixing up one of my old original fat bikes, but you'll see these are not, obviously they are fat wheels, but they're not normal 26-inch wheels, they're 29 plus wheels. These are actually made way before Surly Bikes actually invented this idea, this concept. And out in Alaska, this company Snowcat was making these rims. You get even lighter ones that are drilled. Now there's only, to my knowledge, 2 sets of these in the UK. One undrilled, this set, another set up in, they should still be up in Lossiemouth, Ian, Motorman he was known as on YouTube. He had a set as well on a 907, which is another Alaskan made fat bike. Now, anyway, I'm just going to true this up and I'm going to show you how we make the tubeless. First of all, here's the bike. So this is the original Surly Pugsley, as in the original colour. My original one's out in my container. It's grey. When I ordered them they were purple, and then when mine came it was grey. So I obviously owned the first one of these in Scotland, as it turned out. And later on a purple one turned up, so I had to buy it. Now I've repainted that with an aerosol I've nearly matched the glitter gold purple with. So what I'm going to do is I'm making this tubeless. I'm going to show you is how to make a non-tubeless rim and tyre tubeless. It's called Ghetto Tubeless. First of all, I'm just going to true this back. There you go, it's very squint. So the concept's the same with this wheel. It's offset rim, and that's because, just to explain to you, look at the back end of the bike. This is how Surly designed these originally. So you had a normal 135 rear hub, that's fat wheels there, standard wheels. So they had to offset it by 17mm and use a 100mm bottom bracket to get the chain to clear the big tyres, but still have a good usable drive chain angle. I've just put some Lionel Guard grease on these rust spots, see it in there. Put a bit more on and then I'll let it soak in overnight and then take the excess off tomorrow. So anyway, just while I'm quickly doing this, so if you've never done a wheel, it's obviously you've got, so it's a 32 spoke rim, so you've got 16 on each side. Now there's a lot of talk about wheels being like a black magic art, and it isn't really. So what I'm going to do here is, what you've got to do is you're pulling the rim backwards and forwards. So you can either do what I'm going to do here, which is loosen the outsides, because these are very tight, as you can hear. It's still really, and just do a half turn at a time. These are very thin because these were designed for racing, and I did a bike. So when the first fat bikes came about, that's what they did say, that it just had a wee tweak or a dent. When those years there wasn't enough snow, they could run 29-inch mountain bike tyres, and or if it was really icy, run ice biker tyres. I've seen photos of them made by Swalby. So we're nearly there. I was at this just before I put the camera on, by the way. I had 2 big buckles, so that's still tight. Ooh, horrible noise, isn't it? I'll do that one as well. Right there. So of course with a wheel you also have the up and down. That's the hard buckle to get out. I'm self-taught doing wheels. This is what I used to do as a teenager, buckle my BMX rims. And then I started, actually laced this wheel, these wheels, I changed the hubs when I got these off my pal Chris. But I'm going to use this bike as a 29er alongside G with hers when we're going up. Just need a bike to get into to do Munros and stuff, and further afield ones, but I'm going to live with that. That's good enough. Right, now the magic. Alright, I'll come back. I'll get rid of all this stuff, okay? I'll come back to you. On a normal tubeless wheel, you just put the tyres in, as you know, and then inflate it, and the tubeless bead would connect onto the hook of the rim. But of course, on a normal tube trim, you don't have. The reason we're doing this is when we put the sealant in, we don't get thorn punctures and we don't get pinch flats. Now you can see there's slack. See that? So you're never going to get that to seal. But we've got a way around that. Got a weight with a cassette disc on. What we do is we take foam camp mat and we just cut it to the width of the rim. You can roughly measure. So I'll just quickly saw down this and I'll show you what we do. How quick it is to do. Now on a 29er, these mats are usually not long enough. So we find the centre hole, and we're up here. So we'll put the join knot on it. We stretch this like that. This all looks a lot of faff, right? But see, once this is set up, as long as you top up your tyre sealant sort of twice a year or whatever. So we're not quite long enough. We'll get around that though. We'll cut another one. You've basically got an indestructible tyre system that will no puncture. And it allows you to run them low pressure and not get pinch flats, as you know, might know them as a snake bite. Okay, so we just need the length of this. That bit's not very good, is it? This just takes up the air gap between our tube. Just roughly cut this now, and we'll just quickly tape it. Tape. Just give them a sec. This isn't like, this is just a spacer, as I say. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. If it's a little bit tight, as I'm going to do here, it just stops it moving about. But you're going to be impressed at how this works. So interestingly, the guy who actually first came up with this idea is Alan. Hi Alan. He is the guy who had this idea. We take 24-inch tubes. This is the nuts bit. Just pump them up. If you're using 26-inch rim, you put a 24 on, or even a 20. So what needs? Now what I've not done is made my hole for my tube. Watch. So there, I don't need to be anything fancy. Right, you stick that through, like so, and lock that on, just to keep it straight up and down, like tray. I actually used to have a big wide bench with a hole cut in it in my last garage, and it was really handy for putting wheels on to work on. Basically for building wheels. So just pull this on, as tight as you see. Come on. There you go. Now, you'll see there's a centre rib on it. Try and get that in the centre. Okay. Now this is the mad bit. I'm going to puncture it, and you'll see why. So we just cut all the way around that centre rib. Go and squint, but that's okay. As long as we're cutting on that centre line, it will be half and half. All right. That's it. Okay. So we just fold this out. Bear with me on this. You should open a beer before you sat down to watch this. Or a big cup of tea. Put in the intake. So you end up with a fan like this. Now just peel this so it's all centred. Okay, now we get this. Make sure we get the right way round. It's this way, there's a direction angle. So that on the cassette side. I'll start down there. I'll just put this on now. Now it can look really tight. What you got to do is try and keep your... Now some folk put soapy water on, I don't bother because it just makes a bit of a mess. Swap that on. It's not hard to take. Now don't want to use a lever on this because you will rip the inner tube underneath. The secret is to make sure this one's in, yeah, it's in the centre, right round underneath. So if it's as tight as this, you don't need an airline. It's a new tyre as well, so it's tight. Really tight, this one. So I'm missing not having a decent workbench for this. So all our fat bikes are made like this, and they've been a couple of years getting used without. I'm just going to risk this. Don't like using the lever. See, I've ripped that, but it's on the outside. It's alright. Just get that on. Tight. There you go. Right. So what we do now, we've got to work that inner tube back out, which isn't that hard. See that? I see why you don't want to rip it though. Nip that one outside, but it's okay. Okay. One side on. So now we'll get this side on. Quite a wide rim this, it's 55mm wide. Well, I say I don't like using the levers. Skin the tube. Now, before you ask, I don't think you can put this on a motorbike or the speed thing. Before someone says, "Are you going to do this on your Enfield?" Very tight one. Nearly there though. Got the energies on the inside. Right, so when this inflates, that blue foam will just go flat. Which doesn't matter, it serves its purpose, you see. There's no weight in it. Just a little bit there. There. Right, so you see what we've got now. We've got our tube on. As long as it's either side of that valve hole, which we'll need to take the core out of for inflating it up. I've not done it already, have I? No, I've not. Now, for camera time, I'll just grab my airline. Now, so I've still got the core out. There you go. I'll lift it up to about 20. So we can see the bead, it's not right there. This is where your washing liquid might help. I have blown a tyre off a rim by doing this because it was an old tyre, which is why I always think doing this with a brand new tyre is always the best. So, can you see that? Beads all the way around. Now, if I take this out, it's going to deflate, obviously. Because we still have to add our sealant. So this is, I got some stand sealant a while back. I prefer to buy my stuff from a local bike shop, but I never got back in time last night to nip into Collins and get some. Apologies, Colin. But that's just enough to do 2 sets of wheels, but I need to buy some more because we need to top up our actual beach bikes. So this is an old applicator I got from another make of tyre sealant. I just keep for doing that job. So put the valve core back in. I run these about 13 psi. 12 front, 13 back. Right, so that's the core in. It would have took a bit of shoogling of the tyre. Shoogling, there's a good Scottish word, isn't it? If you can see here, alright. Is that you in angle? Right, that's really hard, which I'll just leave them now. Now, what we're doing with this excess inner tube, you're saying? See, it's slightly in there, doesn't matter though. It's just got extra rubber inside. Well, watch this. So, always use a brand new Stanley knife blade, brand new. And then, what I would do, actually there's the one I want. I do have one just for this. Got these little magnets right on there. So you put a magnet on your Stanley knife blade, right? It works like a spacer. Now you've got to be really careful. Take your time doing this. This is why you want a new blade. So with that magnet on, you just go all the way around. If you can do this in one action, you don't end up with a ragged edge. It just looks better. But do not slice that tyre. Before you ask, yes, I have sliced the tyre before doing this. So the reason you leave a little bit excluding is it gives you a little bit of rim protection. If you hit big rocks and stuff, less chance of you damaging the rim. So a little bit of rubber, but a wee bit of cushioning. You can see if you used a blunt blade on this, apart from getting a ragged edge, there's a chance of it not cutting easily and slipping and going into your tyre. And you'll get the biggest fright of your life if you do that, especially when it's up high pressure like this. And I know I did. One side done. Make sure that magnet's still on. Nearly there. Crikey. Just dropped you off the, it's not a magnet mount today. Stick you there instead. Now there's one thing I like to do before we drop the pressure, and that is start at the rim, shake this, so you want to get the fluid all around and all sealed everywhere, you see. Hear that? We call it a stand shake. Now, I probably could have filled that bottle totally, but I've just put a half in there now. So basically, if a thorn goes into this tyre, we've always got hawthorn and blackthorn here, you go right round. You can actually just leave the thorns in and just snap them off, because every time you pull them out, you'll use more of your sealant. So 13 psi. I've lost my digital pressure gauge, but this is up to 30 psi. It's a rally car one. Way up high. See that? Like 30. I get these on the end on it. There you go, 13 psi. And then double check the valves tight. There you go. And I've got, actually I won't put that on. I'll go and find another dust cap. And that's your wheel. Ghetto Tubeless. Alright, so we'll go and do the other one. And then I have, for our, using this as a more adventure bike now, got a rear rack I'll stick on. Come back when it's all done and you see the bike finished. Okay, so hope you find that useful. There we go then, finished. How's that? So what we've got the wheels set up Ghetto Tubeless, and they're filled with juice, loads of sealant, so that takes care of pinch flats, thorns, etc. Got the rear rack on. That's really neat. See how the offset works? You can see how it just bolts straight on that side, but this side I've put spacers in, and that's pretty centre, as you can see. I'll probably, because I've got that, I think I'll get a bit of polythene, like an old top of a ice cream container or something, cut it, fit it on under there, just cable tie it on to work as a splash guard. I've got a rear light I'll get on there. I'll put a lamp mount on the front. What else? Obviously I've got thumb shifters for lack of maintenance. These never knacker up with grit or anything, they're great. Proper old school. With the laid back seat post, waterproof saddle of course. I have, your middle finger should fit to the centre of a stem. How's that? Not bad, eh? Not bad at all. I think I'd rather have a flat bar on it with the bar grips for just head down for climbing and stuff. But anyway, you'll notice the front wheel, or rather the fork, looks like it's been hit with a car. So they offset the forks on the original Surly Pugsley fat bikes, and reason being, it's got a rear hub. They use rear hubs in the front, but instead of a free hub they tend to have either a fixed cog like that or a free hub like the BMX's. And because they were riding in Alaska, -50, and they did a bike, temperatures like that, moisture freeze, the poles and the free hubs can freeze up and they'll lose their drive, and or you could rip that rear mech off, totally destroy it. So that's why a lot of them run these bikes, especially on ice, single speed, some road fix, some are free hubs, and they had maybe 2 ratios, so they could swap the bikes. But how clever is that? Having a bike with reversible wheels. Every adventure bike, trekking bike should have that. Very, very clever. But that's what Surly do. They make very clever frame sets. There's original 4-inch fat bike wheels that came with. You can see the difference in height. These things are massive, aren't they? So this tyre, that's a 26-inch rim, and with this 4-inch wide tyre, that's actually the same height as a normal 29-inch mountain bike. What G's got there. So, but these wheels are a bit oozy with the salt water. So I do have, I never sold them, a set of other wheels that are built up, and these are nice because these have got a British Hope rear hub. Look at that. Grand, eh? So instead of like having these just sitting doing nothing, that's why I need more sealant. This was the plan. So I need to go and see Colin this week in his shop. I've got brand new tyres, 4-inch tyres in the container. So I'll mount these split tubeless as well. So I'll have a fat bike wheel set as well as the 29 plus wheels. Though, admittedly, probably most of the time, they're beautiful rims, aren't they? You can't get these now. None of these things are made now. They were expensive, those rims. I think I got them second hand from someone who'd never used them. But I'm sure they paid, oh, it's nuts, it's like 175 quid each. But it's cool how they're machined out, eh, to lose weight compared to the originals. These are double walled. Obviously they're single walled, that's why they're so light. But yeah, so I've really enjoyed today getting back on my bike spanner, and really enjoyed using the, screw the wheel up and done this. Got a bike resurrected. This will get hung up, locked up and it can go in the van when I eventually get my van back. See, I might try and hunt out a flat bar for this bike. Maybe suit it more, because you've got quite a height this bike now with the big wheels, but they things, when you get this thing rolling, it just steamrolls over everything. 29 plus is what Surly called it. It was kind of another one of these phases that cycling's all fashion, but these are functional, and they've now sort of went back to 29 by 2.6, 2.8 an average for bikes now. But for bike packing, trekking, if you ride them on a beach, drop them down to 10 psi, or leave them like that for hard sand. But the comfort and the roll with them is amazing. So I've added a bag, and I'll get like my tools and stuff in that. They'll all go in like one big bag, so I can pull them out, put in the rucksack, and leaving the bike for going up Munros and stuff. So it's basically going to be a trekking bike and general hack. So it's good to resurrect something. Do you like the wee Scotland flag there, the sheep? So there you go, my drinking club has a cycling problem. So I'm really chuffed to get that bike resurrected anyway. So we'll get other wheels done whenever. I'm supposed to put my exhaust in the loft now, I've got a bit more storage area. And we were talking, there's my original homemade Indian silencer chopped down a bit with the decat, homemade decat. I've still got that if ever I want to put it onto a my classic or another, whatever. I've also got an Indian decat pipe there. If anyone wants that, who can pick it up, they can have it for free. There you go. I've never used it, and I don't need to use it. So the original cover, that cover, bolts onto that. So it's here. If anybody wants it, you can have it for free. Well, get us a wee bottle of cider. Alright, okay then. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.